Hello and welcome. Today I have something really exciting and fun for you. As many of you know, I am currently revising my book, The Elemental Self, 5-Element Yin Yoga. And so today we're going to be talking about 5-element theory, particularly fire element. And fire element is the most yang of all the elements. So there are 5 elements, and it's water, wood, fire, earth, and I've missed one, metal, metal, and then we go back to water. And today we're going to be talking about fire. Fire is the most expansive. It's in the summer season. And today we have one of my students with us, and Magdalena, who's here. Thank you so much for being here, Magdalena.
You're welcome.
Magdalena has a lot of fire in her, and she's just come through one of my courses and 5-day challenges in our membership community, which the 5-day challenge was actually available to everybody. And she had a really, I thought, unique experience that would be really interesting for everybody to hear about, because the way that she approached the elemental course, I'm going to close the window because we've got a street cleaner coming by. It's really loud. Thank you, Tim. The way she approached it was, I thought, very moderating and balancing for fire elements. So I really would love for her to speak about that and her experience. So I'm going to let you speak about it, Magdalena, because I think we're all our own best teachers. I think we all have our most sovereign inner authority, and nobody can speak about that better than we can. So, Magdalena, why don't you speak about how you approached the course? And I know it was really unique and revealing for you. So, yeah, just go ahead.
All right. Well, hello, everybody. Um, I'm usually my tendency is towards going and just go for it. Do everything. Make sure I read everything. Make sure I do all the practices. Make sure I'm there, completely submerged in the topic. This time on the challenge, you only show us one pose every day for 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
And even from the beginning, from the moment you started talking about the challenge and sorting the pure from the impure, it came to me that I needed to take this with new eyes. And that was, if I always tend to do everything, this time I'm just going to do what we do for that day, which is the pose. At that time, I didn't do anything after, I didn't do anything before, I didn't read anything. I was just really, really present for that time that we were together in the morning. And I only did that pose. What it came very obvious to me towards the second day was that I was feeling my body as if I had worked 1 hour or 2 hours of it. I mean, it was really that powerful. And I was assimilating the teachings. I could hear the teachings during the day before I went to bed at night, when I woke in the morning. And so I said, oh, this is really interesting. This is really something that I have never tried. I just go for that. I think the more I am for it, the more I will get. But I ended up recognizing that by doing less, it worked very well with me, because I also took all the noise away from me. I stay in my house. And
yeah, so for those of you that might be watching this later, we're recording this sort of hopefully at the tail end of COVID isolation time. So yeah.
Yeah, I stay in my house. I went to my yard. I looked at the trees in the backyard, the plants, everything that was going on around me. And I really stayed present, stay within the day. And the next day I did the next post. And that's how it went for me. So that was my comment on the forum, that I found that very enlightening.
Let's stay with that for a minute, because what I love about that is you just like so immersed yourself in that 5-day challenge, which was around the small intestine. And I often say that small intestine meridian system, which is part of the heart organ system and really protects the heart, which is the main organ of the fire element season, is just so overburdened in our culture, right? We have so much choice. We have so much available to us, and we have so much information that our small intestine system is constantly sorting. So it's not just the food that we take in that has to sort through, but all the emotions, all the information, like it's mentally, it's emotionally, it's energetically, it's spiritually, like even spiritually, we have so much choice now in terms of what we engage in. And so what I hear you saying is that you consciously made a choice in that 5-day challenge to just be with that one pose. And by eliminating so much, you really were able to see what was revealed to you, which was more, not less.
Yes, did. Yes, that happened. And that led me to validate the choice that I had made when I was signing up for the fire element course to be on my own. I love to participate. I love the talks. I love to share my experience. I love to read the poems, everything that you do in the course. I just love. But this time I said, I'm not doing that.
Which I feel like was this huge choice for you. So just to clarify for people who are listening, have no idea about how we run our courses or whatever, is that you have a choice to go through the course. Like you go through with the whole community that have signed up for the course, but you have a choice to go through in a smaller group, which we call a pod, which in this case was a pod of 4, which for you, you love people, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
I do. I just do.
You just love people. And so I feel like for you, you not making that choice is a really big deal. Let's just make sure we get that out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, it was a big deal, but there was so much freedom for me. I felt so free. So it's like I impose these things on myself. Nobody's telling me, you must do this and you must do that. No,
you're always in choice in our community. Yeah.
So I am imposing these things on myself, and I found out that by making that choice, I freed all the noise within my head. The noise that I create in my head, it kind of turned it off, and I was really immersed into the teachings and into my own body, feeling my body, and just being in it and feeling the energy of everybody in the challenge. The challenge was beautiful because we had so many people from everywhere.
Yeah, not just in our community. Yeah,
it just feels so powerful. And I really enjoyed that. I really like that experiment that I did. I think it was good for me.
Yeah. So one of the ways that fire element, people that have a lot of fire in them can create balance is through water element. Because if you think about it, if a fire is really raging, then we're going to throw water on it and that moderates it. And so what you're describing perfectly is that you chose to self-moderate with water, to retreat into yourself. So water element is winter season, and it's a season where we naturally retreat. We come more indoors. We spend more time with ourselves. We tune into that inner listening more, and we connect with our inner wisdom. And it's a quiet season. And so you made that choice to self-balance in that way instead of being out and having a group of 4 friends to go through the course with, which for a water element person would have been more balancing, right? Would have been a choice that would have been balancing, or for a metal element person would have been more balancing, right? Like there's no right or wrong or better best. And whatever choice you make, you're going to have an experience. But for you, this was a really powerful experience because for your element, it asked you to probably have a different experience than you would be getting naturally every day, right? Because you naturally gravitate towards other people. You're naturally expansive and outward. And so I just think that's so cool. And I'm really glad that you're willing to share that experience with other people.
Yes, I'm glad you asked me. Um, you know, the relationships within my family, especially with my daughter, was very revealing. Was very revealing throughout all this time.
Hmm.
Um, then there was some clarity. I was getting all this clarity around me, and I know I've done this 5 element for like about a year. I think I
Hmm.
started with the water element last year.
Hmm.
Oh, and it never dawned on me that water moderates fire, and it's so obvious. I mean, now that I see it, it's so
Yeah.
obvious, but it didn't. And definitely my fire needed some moderation because it was just,
Yeah.
going out of hand, going out of hand. So yes, I'm richer for it.
Yeah. It's so cool. And of course, the fire is all about connection. And so when that fire was moderated more, that's what I love about traveling through the seasons. And every season, I don't know everything there is to know about five elements and the seasons and the elements themselves. And what I find is each time I travel through a season, more is revealed to me. And that's what I'm hearing for you too. And that's why I love with going through the seasons with all of you guys too, is because each season more is revealed to all of us, and we all learn and share these revelations and insights and awarenesses together. And it's just so enriching, isn't it? It just reveals so much to us. And I know that so many of us receive so much in this course. And I love that in that balanced way, there was more revealed to you about connection, because the heart and fire element is all about connection. Yeah. Connection within, which you received, like that ultimately, especially for people who have so much about fire, so much fire, um, that it can be so expansive, but to receive so much with that inner connection is just so rich for somebody with a lot of fire. But then also with a relationship that's so important to you as well, to receive so much insight around that relationship too. It's just so beautiful.
Yeah, another thing that I would like to mention that I gained within the challenge, even before I went to the course, I felt powerful, and the knowledge that I can open or close the gates of my heart,
Mm-hmm.
that I don't have to be always out
Always,
there,
yeah, always open. Yeah.
always out there. And I can close them, and it's perfectly fine, and it's
Yeah.
okay, and there's no big drama going on anywhere else.
Right. It's so
It's,
true.
it's all here. It's all here and here,
Yeah,
the
so
drama.
true. Yeah.
So
So another meridian system, like the heart is so important to our body, and it's such a tender organ system. It's like royalty. We talk about it like royalty, that it does have three organ systems that protect it. And one of the organ systems that we focused on in the course was the heart protector system. That's what Magdalena is talking about. And they're like, we talk about them like gates that can open and close. And it's really important that they're lubricated so that they do open and close. And they don't, it's really not okay if they're always open, right? Not everybody is for us. Not everything is for us. Not every situation, not all places are for us, right? We can't be in all places at all times. We can't be doing all things at all times. We can't be for all people at all times. So they do need to open and close, and they need to be lubricated so they can open and close. And the fact, like, I know I always talk about our body being our wisest teacher. And if if I always say to myself, if I really believe that, then if my body has this built-in system that does these things, that says yes and no, then it's okay to say no, right?
yes,
Yeah. So I really love that. And I feel like I know you weren't the only one that found some comfort in that part in this course. And I think that, and I know along the way, I feel like I picked up that message too, that I always need to be open. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know where I picked it up.
Yeah, I picked up that belief too. Yeah.
Yes,
Is
but I can let it go.
Yeah, it's just a belief and it's just a thought, right?
Mhm.
That kind of gets entrenched.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there anything
Yeah.
else you want to share with people who are listening?
Well, it's one of those gifts that keeps on giving, because I've been this morning when I was doing my yoga practice, the floodgates just came open doing my gym practice this morning. And I know it's been a process that I mean, we've been working on this for like what, a month and a half or something like that.
5 weeks. Yeah.
5 weeks. And I've been, dried eye and kind of cool and collected. And today everything just came, maybe because I knew I was going to meet with you and I was really excited about it. And there's so much emotion, and it just came out, and I feel great. So yes, it's a gift and keeps on giving. So thank you.
Yeah, and one thing I think we talked about in the final class, which was just 2 days ago, right? For us when we're recording it, is that and this is the beauty of being in a community versus being in a course, I think, is that and we have courses within our community. So we have times when we're kind of together more in an intensive, more so to speak, than when we're traveling along with our daily practice. But when you're in a course situation like we had the challenge a week ahead, and then this particular course was 4 weeks long. Anytime you're in a course or a retreat or anything like that, and this doesn't apply just to courses with me, it applies to anything you're doing like that, it tends to reverberate for an equal amount of time afterwards. So for us, we were in it for 5 weeks. And so it's like a rebound in a yin pose, right? We can expect for this course to be echoing in our lives for 5 weeks now, right? As it just continues to integrate for us. And so, yeah, I'm not surprised. And like I say, this is why I really appreciate and love the community structure, because it's not like the course container is closed, although we're slowly winding it down, but we're still there for each other. We can say, wow, this is still echoing for me, and I'm still really integrating the whole process and be there for each other. So yeah, I'm not surprised. And I know I'm really still processing the course as well. I'm really, for me, that the last time through the heart was just so opening and revealing in terms of the level of love and acceptance and reverence for the preciousness of life that's available. And I feel myself really integrating that and sort of feeling the balance in coming to terms with the level of judgment that surrounds us in our world at this point, like, and finding that really startling as this whole new level of love and reverence and acceptance opened up in me in that course, right? And that's kind of the hangover that I talk about too, that happens in after a course too. So yeah, I know that's what's alive for me as well, that I'll speak about in your interview.
Yeah. It's the community, the strength of the community, knowing that there is a place where I can go and expose what I am practicing and what I'm feeling with the practices, and that there is a common thread, although we are in different parts of the world, different parts of the United States, we came from different upbringings and everything, we have something in common, and I think that's our love for yoga. And now I'm in love with 5-element theory. So so that brings us together, and that is a great place to be, because it's a safe place for me to be and expose these things. Otherwise, I say I just practice yoga, and My husband always asks me, are you levitating yet?
Yeah, there's a lot of misunderstanding around what that means. And
Not levitating physically, but I cannot go into the explanation. But anyway, I just
yeah,
think, but yeah, I feel safe and secure in there.
yeah. Yeah. And there's
Anything.
a lot of, like, we have a lot of guidelines that make it so, right? That, yeah.
Yeah, good guidelines.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Magdalena. I really appreciate your time. And I feel like what you have spoken about today is really supportive and enriching and really speaks to a lived experience of fire element. And I know people are going to be, find this helpful. So if you made it all the way to the end, to this interview, please, thank you so much for giving this video a thumbs up and for subscribing to the channel. And let us know if you'd like to hear from other people and their elemental constitution and how to balance the elements. And just, yeah, put that in the comments below. And thanks so
Yes.
much for listening today.
Okay. Thank you.